Higurashi here, and welcome back to this somber moment in Higurashi When They Cry. Let us continue.
一刻も早く富武さんを村の外へ脱出させ、番犬を呼び寄せる必要があります。
困った問題が一つ。彼らが非常時対応で電話線を遮断しているなら、同じ対応で町へ通じる街道を封鎖することになっているのです。車両突破を防ぐため、彼らには歩兵が携帯する対戦車榴弾砲が一つ与えられているはずです。
RPG7 ですか。戦車を想定していないでしょうから、弾頭は榴弾でしょうが、直撃しなくても車がひっくり返るかもしれません。
Not much of an anti-tank weapon if it's not going to be, if it wouldn't be useful against a tank. In any case.
相当厄介な相手です。
しかし、街道を車で突破しなかったら無駄な時間がかかりすぎる。迂回などしていたら日が暮れます。みんなもよく戦ってくれていると思うが、暮れるまで持ちこたえられるとは思えません。急がないと危険です。
もたもたしてる暇はないです。何が何でも富武のおじさまを沖宮に大至急。監督はサトシ君と安全な場所へ。とにかく大至急出ましょう。ここに敵が殺到するのも時間の問題です。
Shion's eyes were swollen from crying, but she had calmed down. Satoshi's safety depended on their victory. They had to win for his sake too. Although it was a very sad situation, Satoshi was alive, and he would be back someday. Shion understood that, but yet more tears poured from her eyes. Sis, everyone, thank you. We've succeeded over here. Takano didn't have enough stamina to walk around in the mountains. She was running out of breath, but even so, she continued to scream at the mountain dogs on the radio. She wasn't using an intercom like the mountain dogs were. Instead, she was using the communication unit on the back of one of the dogs, so he constantly had to listen to her yelling. Ooh, poor guy.
どいつもこいつも頼りないったらありゃしない。それでも特殊部隊なの？天下の山犬はどうしたというのよ。
Takano bit her lower lip and squeezed her left arm with her nails. Her arms had nail marks all over them. She was holding her grandfather's reset scrapbook in her left hand. Even Takano didn't know why she was holding it. But yeah, I got caught up with the second even there. Maybe she grabbed it unconsciously because she wanted her grandfather to comfort her. The mountain dogs had already suffered devastating damage. They had to walk around in an area they weren't familiar with. They wasted their energy on the multitude of traps that had been set. Although they were as tough as can be, they were getting exhausted.
くそ、うちの孫子にゃ。
ウグイス1よりウグイス13。用心しろ。お前の左翼が沈黙した。今度はお前が狙われるぞ。
ふざけるなよ。なんだってんだよ。俺かよ、畜生。
He panicked. The same thing kept happening. His team members had been going down one at a time, starting from the left flank. And he was next. Did that mean the enemy was coming from his 9 o'clock? No. Those demons didn't think normally. Watch them come from the right. 3 o'clock. On this mountain, being aware of 360 degrees around yourself wasn't enough. And being cautious of the ground below your feet and the sky above your head wasn't enough. Where are they fucking coming from? These bastards. Come here, come the fuck at me. Nightingale 13 held his taser in front of him as he looked around timidly. This taser could have been a powerful weapon, but it was far more effectively used indoors. On this mountain, it was almost worthless. Nightingale 13 heard a noise behind him in the bush, from the bush. He thought he saw something, so he fired his taser. The electrodes flew out into the bush. Did he just imagine it? He felt a tug on his taser. The cord from the taser was stuck in the bush, and he couldn't rewind it. If it wasn't useless before, it had certainly become that way. Then he heard a noise behind him again, and this time he saw someone coming at him. But his weapon was useless. The newcomer growled at him. And it's Hanyu that's coming to attack. That was all it took. Because he was so scared, he didn't think. That was exactly what Sadako expected. Sadako, who was up on the tree, dropped a metal bucket on his head. Landed perfectly. The bucket had some drawings on it. What were they? They were drawings of strange, unknown creatures. They somehow resembled those strange characters you see on educational TV programs. Of course. As Rena jumped out from another bush, she hit the bucket with a stick. No, maybe it should be described as a strike instead of a hit. The man flew backwards. Keiichi was ready for him. The stance he was in looked a bit like... That's it. He looked like a batter in a batter's box. He was on one foot. That was the legendary one-foot swing created by that one world-famous baseball player. Destructive force can't be measured from just one direction. It's a function of both speeds added together. Both Keiichi's strike and the speed of his opponent created a truly amazing destructive force. Every action has the opposite reaction. Two people running into each other at 50 kilometers an hour. They're not going to be running at 50 kilometers an hour, but okay, two people running at each other at 10 kilometers an hour would be the same as one person running. It would hurt as much because it's the same amount of force as one person running into a wall at 10 kilometers an hour. With an exhilarating and magnificent sound, the mountain dog flew into the air in the opposite direction. Then he rolled down on the ground and stopped. There Rico awaited him. It was almost as though they calculated that he would end up there. Rico patted the bucket happily. This comforting moment for Nightingale 13 only lasted for a second. Neon shot a taser at his foot. Nightingale 13 jerked for a moment, then went limp. Taser pilfered from one of the other members that had already gone down, I'm guessing. Keiichi and Rena jumped on him and tied his hands behind his back with wire. Hanyu and Satoko high-fived. While Keiichi and Rena tied Nightingale 13 up, Rika tried to sense something in the air. What? Okay. Okay then. Rika reported to Mion. She was a bit like a radar. Mion didn't even care about the guy they had just knocked out. She was already trying to figure out her next move while looking at Sedeko's map and using the info Rika gave her. Everyone eagerly awaited Mion's next order.
なんだいみんなのその目は。まだまだ食い足りないって。確かにね。我が部としちゃようやく体が温まってきた程度だしね。行っちまう？この山でみんなやっちまうか
Mion was a great leader. She had both leadership skills and tactical ability, but more than anything else, she was great at encouraging people's spirits. There are no cowardly soldiers under a brave general, and brave soldiers fight like a million men under Mion's command. Nobody could stop Mion and her club members. Both Mion and Okunagi's original estimates were too low. Now Okunagi was thinking something else. Before they started the siege, he likened one of them to a well-trained platoon. But that didn't fit anymore. They were on par with an elite armored division. The soldiers couldn't beat an armored division. What Okunagi had was just a company. Where was the airport, or a bombardment from a warship, or an artillery base? Okunagi needed someone to pump the mountain full of holes. If he couldn't have that, he needed a submarine to fire a nuclear weapon. I feel like if anything that's an the escalation. It's like, oh no, I don't have like a hammer to like for the snail. Let me go find a sledgehammer to just break this wall down. Oh, whoops. If he couldn't have that, he wanted to retreat. Okunagi no longer doubted it. The enemy commander was a genius. Well, apparently you're still sending your men in one by one. You know that they're slowly coming one by one along the flank of Nightingale, but you're still just letting them go. Under a mighty commander, all soldiers become heroes. He wanted to see the face of the commander, or at least wanted to know their name. But then Okunagi remembered that demons used to live in Hinamizawa. He also realized the commander had to be a demon.
ウグイス13沈黙。
大鳥4沈黙。こちらひばり10。子供の笑い声が聞こえる。包囲された。頼む、助けてくれ。ひばり10、退却しろ、退却しろ。退却ってどっちにだよ。大鳥ないんだ。敵の一人を発見、追跡している。応援を。大鳥9、どこにいるんだ。所在地がわからない。
They don't know where any of their allies are, dear.
周辺の状況を送られたし。霧が出てる。
は？
寒い。ここは河原？大鳥9、地図上ありえない。落ち着いて状況を確認しろ。そんな。河原の向こうに死んだ姉ちゃんが。大鳥9、大鳥9、応答しろ。
There won't be any more answers.
大鳥9、沈黙。無理だ。奴らはこの山の鬼だ。俺は知ってる。これは鬼隠しなんだ。
Wasn't like this group that was behind the demoning away? At least partially.
俺たちは全員この山で消されちまうんだ。
バカなことを口走るのはやめろ。各班長は再点呼で状況把握と指揮公用に努めろ。敵は悪魔なんかじゃない。ただのクソガキだ。ビビるな。格の違いを見せてやれ。
More adult sounding, honey.
聞こえる。誰のインカムから聞こえてるんだ。俺じゃない。俺じゃない。
クマだ。
え？
大鳥3だ。ここには野生のクマがいるのか。聞いていない。
大鳥は一度撤退し下記の武装の検討を。
バカ言うんじゃねえ。いくら矢口三家ったって野生のクマがいるはずねえだろう。連中のハッタリだ。乗せられるな。
人の身に過ぎたるを知らぬ愚かなる人間たち、汚すことを許されぬ聖地を踏み荒らす罪を知るがいい。我に感謝せよ。聖地を汚した罪をあがなう機会を与えしことを感謝せよ。
ちくしょう。誰かのインカムを奪ってやがるんだ。
Is that really a surprise considering how many people we've taken down?
敵の指揮減退戦術に乗るな。
恐れを知ることかなわぬ哀れな人間どもよ。よかろう。汝らがその身でしか知ることができないというなら、我がそれを教えようぞ。
ウグイスワンだ。光栄が来ていない。バカな。どこへ行った。応答しろ。
哀れなウグイスが一羽踏み込むこと許されぬ地に迷い込む。そんなにも知りたいか。鬼の世を知りたいか。告げよ。人の世に分かれよ。
I'm also wondering how much of this is actually just Hanyu laying a trap, as opposed to actual like Hanyu history thing.
我が忠告に耳を重ぬ具を今より知れ。
Is this actually a sacred mountain? What?
誰の悲鳴だ今のは。ウグイス、天候を取れ。
Definitely sounds like it's part of her trap.
またやられた。誰が沈黙した。それより本部、俺の左肩には誰かいるんだよな。俺は孤立してるんじゃないよな。
まだ聞きたいか。痛みを伴う声が。
Yeah, they only have one guy, so only one person fake going down.
なんだよ今の音。何がひしゃげたらあんな音になるんだよ。
俺昔電車の飛び込みを見たことある。あん時と同じだ。全身がひしゃげる音だ。
嫌だ。そんな死に方ごめんだ。死にたくねえ。死にたくねえ。やめてくれ山の神様。俺も好きでやってるわけじゃねえんだ。給料もらってやってるだけなんだ。
ウグイスワンより本部。ダメだ。士気の高揚は困難。隊員の脱落と士気低下は深刻。これ以上の戦線維持は困難。損害が増えるだけだ。
だから落ち着けウグイスワン。他の隊員は野戦の素人ばかりじゃねえか。お前はあの地獄の卒業生だろうが。そのお前が混乱してどうするんだ。落ち着け。お前が範を示せ。
Nightingale one's going down next.
本部ウグイスワンが応答しない。あの人がやられるなんてダメだ。やっぱり悪魔だ。
ダメだ。クソ敵は心理戦までこなしやがるのか。ガキどものくせにプロの不正規戦部隊に指揮減退戦術まで仕掛けやがるというのか。
Radios are usually helpful communication tools. In this case, they backfired. Club members took an intercom from a mountain dog being knocked out and used it to corner the other members psychologically. It worked even more effectively because they were in enemy territory and were unfamiliar with the terrain. The best solution would be to make everyone stop using the intercom. That would give the enemy more chances to attack them individually. Okanogi was growing fearful of the club members, as he still hadn't grasped their true identities. However, Takano still hadn't realised how serious the situation was. She kept yelling at the mountain dogs to get their act together. Okunogi could tell she was exactly the type of commander who only commanded to attack and let her men die. Takano's reckless orders were working in a way. Though the club members were winning, the area of operation was getting smaller. Club members were trying to lure their enemies to one trap area after another. In other words, they were defeating the mountain dogs by allowing them to come into their territory. The mountain dogs were about to be annihilated, but the curtains were closing on the club members' theatre too. Okunogi realised his enemies were trying to finish this battle in a hurry. Well, I mean, really they only need to reduce their numbers enough so that they won't be found, and then just leave the transmitter as well. If the mountain dogs fell back, everything they'd done would be for nothing. He didn't want to, but he had to follow the princess's order. Okunogi figured he was finally about to get his enemies. Hanyu and Keiichi continued to act over the commandeered radio. Yes, just like one.
っていうかすごいね羽生。あのドスは波の人間にはちょいと無理だよ。
Yes, totally
だ
normal.
って神様なのですからミパーあんあんあんそれを言ったらケイイチもすごいのです。鶏の首を絞めたみたいなすごい悲鳴を出してましたです。こんなのケイイチさんには朝飯前ですわよ。何しろ我が部の通り名は口先の魔術師でございますもの。
へへへ、相手が人で耳がついてる限り誰だろうと俺様のケイイチマジックで思いのままに操ってやるぜ。
You should become a voice actor. I bet you'd be famous.
聞こえる？私は高野よ。三等陸佐よ。あんたたちの最上位の上司よ。聞きなさい。鬼もいないし神様もいないわ。
Says the one trying to become one.
もしいるなら戦いなさい。神などその座から引きずり下ろしてやるのよ。ヒバリとウグイスは合流して戦力を立て直しなさい。大鳥は白鷺の残存と合流。敵は山頂付近の営林署の資材小屋あたりを本拠地にしている模様。交渉を取られてるわ。こちらの動きが筒抜けのはず。奇襲はあって当たり前よ。差し違えてでも倒しなさい。
I'm sure that would be great for the morale.
サンサ、武装に戻る許可を。奴らを制圧するにはテーサーでは無理です。
許可できるわけないでしょう。私たちは今奴らを完全に包囲して追い詰めているのよ。ここで引けば取り逃がすわよ。私たちはあいつらの首に両手をかけてる。あとは締めるだけなのよ。
At the same time, Okunogi received another radio call. Using that line meant his caller didn't want Takano to hear the conversation. Okunogi understood the meaning of that, so he walked away from Takano and answered quietly.
指揮者より大鳥は緊急事態です。診療所研究区画が襲撃を受けたようです。エントランス区画への侵入者警報を受信しましたがすぐに解除されました。ご法事の手続きによらない解除です。状況の確認を求めていますが無線に応じません。現在研究区画の武装保安隊も含め全員が沈黙しています。
Okunogi understood everything. He had been fooled. He suspected a diversion, but he never even thought that the heavily armed security units of mountain dogs could be bested. the enemies were soldiers in camouflage, then he wouldn't have been fooled. He underestimated them because he thought they were kids. Now he really understood. He understood the reason why no adults had shown up on this field in this battle of the mountains.
わかった。そいつは東京の格好に伝えたか。
まだです。連絡しますか。
連絡しろ。富武は奪還され脱出。村境で封鎖線を張らせてるが、武装保安隊を秒殺した連中だ。RPG 一機では難しいだろう。
封鎖線に応援を送りますか。
バカ。そんな余剰人員があったらお姫様が突撃させてるぜ。今手が空いてるのはむしろお前くらいだ。封鎖線に連絡。車両の強行突破に備えろと伝えろ。
了解。
了解。警戒を厳にする。
I think this one looks new. Don't remember this thread at least.
各自聞け。診療所が襲撃され捕虜を奪われたとの連絡が入った。敵はおそらく車両にて強行突破を試みるものと思われる。
RPG を準備。他は一斉射撃で蜂の巣にしろ。射殺許可は出ているぞ。
One of the mountain dogs nodded and opened a narrow case in the trunk of the van. In that case was a powerful anti-tank weapon, designated RPG-7. This was a weapon that many said changed the history of modern warfare. After all, this terrifying weapon had a firing range of several hundred meters, and it was capable of burying most tanks in existence. The dawn of this weapon meant that we were now in an age where a lone foot soldier possessed the firepower to destroy a tank. It was capable of reshaping the history of warfare. That was for RPG-7. Each of the other 4 members had an MP5, the weapon used to destroy the tire on Irio's car. There was no question that the blockade teams were armed. They waited in the van until the enemy vehicle showed up. Once they saw a suspicious vehicle, they were planning to stop it by moving it into the middle of the road. They intended to destroy that vehicle by firing all at once. They all watched very carefully for suspicious vehicles coming from Hinmazawa. This was the only road that connected Hinmazawa to Okunomiya. It would take more than half a day to get there if they used a different route. Their blockade was where the gravel road changed to a paved road. It was what people called the village border. It was their last chance to stop anyone from leaving. Hinmazawa was at a higher elevation from that point, so the vehicle would be coming downhill. They were probably expecting a barricade, as well as heavy resistance from the mountain dogs. Yeah, I'm looking at that and I don't really see where it turns to gravel. Well, if we wanted to pass this point, the only way would be by force. I guess maybe this is coming downhill and then coming down towards this way and then just like beyond our vision on the bottom left is gravel maybe? No, I don't know. They could start a gunfight, but that would take too much time. Since they didn't want to waste any, they should avoid unnecessary conflict. Grumble. Someone's stomach growled, but nobody made fun of it. That was understandable. Since all the members were getting ready for battle, nobody even wanted to laugh. They looked at the clock. It was almost noon. Of course they'd be getting hungry. At that time, they heard noise coming from the direction of Hinamazawa. Obviously, the car was going very fast. The van moved to the middle of the road and stopped there. Some of them hid behind the van, and some hid in bushes on the side of the road. They pointed their guns at the suspicious vehicle coming towards them. The car must have been going very fast. But this was the straight road. No matter how fast it was going, it couldn't escape. That car happened to belong to Kasai. With shining black paint and the sound of the engine made it clear it was a very nice car. The RPG-7 fires unguided rockets. Therefore, hitting a quickly moving target is extremely difficult. In this case, however, their target was straight ahead, car tried to swerve suddenly, it'd flip. If that was the case, it wasn't necessary to shoot directly at it. Besides, according to what Kasai said, its power can easily flip a car without a direct hit. Even if there was only one chance to fire, the mountain dogs are definitely in an advantageous position.
富武さん、不審なワゴンが路上を封鎖してます。
Okay, well, before we find out how they'll manage to avoid this roadblock, I'm going to end it here for today. We will find out next time. But until then, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And see ya.